One take, one shot. This is the Smackdown review where I do it all in one take, and I gotta hurry because I gotta go to work. That's right. Life as a restaurant GM it never ends. But yeah, so I gotta hurry. Sami Zayn, he comes out, right? They're in Montreal, and if you didn't know, it's 0 degrees or -1. They'll be telling it to us throughout the entire night every 5 minutes. Hey guys, it's really cold in Montreal tonight, by the way. But yeah, Sami comes out and he speaks French, and then he says he's gonna win tomorrow's Fatal 4-Way and then go and become champion. But then Trick Williams comes out and says, Sami, I already told you we're not alike, and basically Trick Williams just shows his dominance on the microphone to Sami, and Sami's like, yeah, we're not alike, and but he says it in a way that makes it seem like that Sami's above Trick, and so Trick kind of gets mad, but then Damian Priest comes out, and Damian Priest is like, Trick, you just talk, and so eventually, that Trick will act like he's gonna, like, do something about it against Damian Priest, but he turns around and he punches Sami Zayn, knocks Sami to his feet. Then he goes after Damian Priest, but Damian Priest turns it around. But then Sami's like super mad, and he pulls Damian Priest off of Trick so he can get some of Trick. But then Damian Priest gets mad that he got pulled off of Trick Williams, and then Trick kind of just leaves and was like, ha 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 ha. And that is pretty much that segment. Later, though, we will have a confrontation between Sami and Damian Priest, which was kind of interesting. I'm not gonna lie, but the most interesting thing that happened tonight was actually Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu. Like, seriously, this was super interesting. Unfortunately, it could not save SmackDown. I'm gonna say it. This was the fear. This was my fear of a 3-hour SmackDown. They would just make the matches longer, and they wouldn't be much added stories at all. Like, by 8 o'clock, but the first hour, it was that segment that I just talked about, Carmelo Hayes versus Ilya Dragunov, and this really good Cody segment with Jacob Fatu. But seriously, almost nothing happened throughout the show except for maybe in the beginning, maybe at the end, and a couple things. Even the tag team championships, they switched hands, but it's just kind of lost in this just sea of mediocrity of just like banger matches, but it's like, oh my gosh, I don't need any more banger matches like on SmackDown or Raw. I would just love storyline banger stories that would lead into PLEs or Saturday Night Main Events, and those are the banger matches. PLEs are banger matches, and we get banger storylines leading into it. But yeah, Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu, it was a really good. Michael Cole sits down, says to Cody, hey man, I don't care about you trying to get the championship. I'm paraphrasing because Cody was like, I'm going to become 3rd champion, 3-time champion. And then Michael Cole cut him off. He's like, hey man, I don't want to really hear that. I want to hear what you think about Jacob Fatu. And then Cody's like, I respect you, Michael Cole, but let me tell you. And as he's about to say something, Jacob comes in and everybody's like, oh no. They're all worried that Jacob's going to go crazy. And Jacob sits down. He's like, man, I'll tell you what, I had no problems with you. Cody, but you want to get in my face? Now I got a problem with you. And then Cody says something very heelish, and he's like, listen, I'm just going to say it. You don't think, you act, and that's what got you in prison. And then Jacob's like, okay, fine. I'll tell you what, I was in prison. I'm not hiding that. I'm not hiding nothing. I was poor. I have 7 kids. I slept on a mattress on the floor. I got hired. I almost got fired before I got even in the ring. And it was just a really good, intense stare down. And this was actually in a pre-taped, like, trailer. I think it was on Cody Rhodes' bus, actually. And it was just so good. It was so refreshing. Cody didn't hold back. Jacob didn't hold back. We didn't need them to brawl because the words cut deep, and it was enough. And Jacob was like, everybody thinks I'm unhinged and out of control. Well, I'm in total control. And Jacob actually said something that I really liked. He was like, because Cody was like, you cost me the belt. And Jacob was like, I didn't cost you nothing. Drew was already on his way out before I even got there. So, and he was right. Drew was actually going to win. Jacob actually stopped him from winning before, and then he got in the ring and he was going to stop him even more, but then Cody got involved. So just that was good TV. That was solid, great TV. That segment right there. But one solid segment, maybe 3 okay segments, okay to good segments, and then just a lot of drawn out TV doesn't make for must see. I gotta give this SmackDown. I'm gonna give this SmackDown. I'll give it a 5 or a 6. A high 5, low 6, because that segment was awesome. I loved it. And I love Jacob Fatu. This is a kind of a babyface that I love. Just like no nonsense. I love that 2 babyfaces are fighting. And yeah, just great stuff right there. But like for the most part, You got the Carmelo Hayes match. It was a rematch with Ilya Dragunov. Like before the match, Carmelo says to Ilya, "Hey, you want to go?" And Ilya's like, "Man, I'm really beat up. Of course I want to go." And then The Miz comes out and says to Carmelo Hayes, "What is this? What is this just handing out title matches? Where's the hatred? In my day, we used to hate each other." And I'm like, yeah, that's what I've been saying. That's what I've been preaching on this channel for months now. And the crazy thing is, now I know for a fact that Triple H knows this because they wrote The Miz to say it. Literally, The Miz is saying what I'm thinking, and yet they still have multiple matches just coming out of respect. They even did it later with AJ Styles. They make a big fuss about AJ coming to SmackDown just so Nick Aldis can be like, "Are you sure you want to face Gunther?" And AJ's like, "Yeah, I'm sure I want to face Gunther." All right, well then Shinsuke, he wants to face you now before we have no more chances. And so they just make a match between Shinsuke and AJ Styles. Like, okay, like, where's the animosity there? I mean, heck, these guys used to war with each other at WrestleMania 35. This is a WrestleMania 35 match. And remember when Shinsuke just kept hitting him in his balls? But, like, yeah, like, no, let's just, okay, cool, shake hands and let's have a match at Saturday Night's Main Event. That's the build? That's the build for a match at Saturday Night's Main Event when AJ Styles might be retiring? Like, literally, next week, and that's the build he gets. Like, after we even talk about it, The Miz talked about how, where's the animosity between wrestlers nowadays? There isn't any. And so Carmelo Hayes and his buddy, his good old pal, Ilya Dragunov, have a banger of a match for 40 minutes. Probably 30, actually, or 20. I don't know. It was long. It was like 7:40 by the time it was said and done. And The Miz will come out, he will interfere, and he will, behind Carmelo Hayes' back, will cost Ilya the matchup. And boom, 1, 2, 3. And The Miz is like, oh. So what's The Miz's game here? He's trying to, is he trying to get in line for a title shot? Or is he trying to make amends and tutelage, have Carmelo's under his tutelage once more? So we'll see about what's going on there. What else happened? We got The Miz interferes. So now we're at 8 o'clock. Okay, so now we have the MFTs versus the Wyatts. It's pretty much the same angle of, we've got your lantern, which I do like, and heck, at least there's a story here. And we're gonna have Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga, which is weird. They're the tag team that's representing the MTFs when you got Tall Tonga, Tonga Loa, the true tribal chief, and JC Mateo. Hate that name. It's like, we're going with Solo? Like, Solo should be going after a singles title, or Thomas should be going after a singles title, but they're together. I mean, fine, whatever. He sends Tall Tonga back to make sure that they keep the lantern, which is a smart move. And the fight goes on. It's for the tag team championships, and eventually Tall Tonga comes out with the lantern, and Uncle Howdy gets it for a second, but then Solo does the exact same thing they did last week, and that will then cause a distraction for Tama Tonga to win, and now we got new tag champions, and they still got the lantern. I think we could have done a little more. Honestly, they should have just smashed the lantern on Uncle Howdy. Like, let's make it really personal now. Like, last week they stole it. Next week they smash it. Like, let's go crazy here. They can always get the glass and remelt it and make it the lantern again. So, yeah, but they didn't, and we got new tag team champions. And again, This would have been probably cool if it was in 2 hours, but since it was in 3 hours, I'm like, did that happen? Did that just happen, or was that like 4 months ago when they won the tag team titles from the Wyatts? I don't know. It just because it just went forever. Jade Cargill, she had a matchup against Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green has been deemed unworthy of the main event scene. Chelsea Green only exists to put people over. That's what Michael P.S. Hayes says, at least on Unreal Season 2. Agree or disagree? Put that in the comments below. I actually disagree. I think Chelsea would be a great champion. I love that she came out in a Mountie outfit. The Mountie is a former Intercontinental Champion. He had it for 7 days, beat Bret the Hitman Hart, and then subsequently lost it to the Mountie at Royal Rumble. What was it? Royal Rumble 92, I believe. I think it was Royal Rumble 92, maybe 91. I think 92. No, 92. Yeah, 92. And I'm the Mountie. I always get my man. I wish she would have came out with a cattle prod too, like just a that would have been great and funny. But she's facing Jade Cargill. She brought out Jordynne Grace with her. Jordynne Grace was like, I'll join your Secret Harvest for tonight. And she comes out and literally Jordynne Grace doesn't do anything except for Jade Cargill until the end. But Jordynne Grace just kind of stands there. Eventually, Jade Cargill will beat Chelsea Green. Yay. And then Jordynne Grace, then she gets in the ring, gets in her face, and she's like, I'm going to enter the Rumble and come after you. Like, geez, Louise, just attack her. Just have attack, fight, do something. But no, she's like, no, you're not. You're not worthy. You ain't nothing. And then Jade walks away. Just like, oh, man, I love Jade Cargill, but her title reign sucks, honestly. But you know what? Almost all their title reigns suck. I mean, Tiffany Stratton, her title reign sucked too. But the only thing, except for her feud with Charlotte Flair, that was about it. That was like the only time that Tiffany got interesting. It's just like, they get the belt, they don't know what to do with it. Like, I mean, even Stephanie Fakir's title reign. What's so like special about Stephanie Fakir's title reign? It's like, if it wasn't for Raquel Rodriguez actually cutting promos on her, then her title reign wouldn't be interesting either. It's like, what are we freaking doing? I mean, Io Sky had a bad title reign too. Only Naomi, like for real, Naomi and 1 month of Tiffany Stratton had good title reigns in 2025 to right now. Like, name a good title reign. I mean, I guess Liv Morgan's like 6-day title reign at the beginning of 2025 was good too. Then she lost it to Rhea Ripley, and what did Rhea do with it? Rhea's actually title reign wasn't bad in the beginning because she had that matchup against Nia Jax, but like, yeah, no, nobody had good title reigns. They just like, oh, well, we can book them, I guess, kind of, but then they don't. It's just like so weird. So weird. It's like we book them right to the title, and then we just drop the ball completely. Another great, interesting feud was Kit Wilson did an interview, right? Kit Wilson, and he's talking about toxic masculinity, and Matt Cardona just goes up to him and says, hey man, what's your problem with me? Like, why wouldn't Matt do something? Matt literally got attacked after a match last week, right? By Kit Wilson, and he's not mad about it? He's just like, what's your problem, man? Like, holy crap. How is that interesting? I know they have writers. Where are these writers at? What are they writing? What are the writers of WWE doing? They're going to just write Matt Cardona walks up to and says, what's your problem? Where's the story there? The dude got attacked last week. And someone said this in the chat, like, well, we just don't need everything to end in a brawl. That's fine. I made this story up on the fly during the live stream. Have Matt Cardona steal Kit Wilson's gym bag when he's taking a shower. Then Kit Wilson has to come out in just his towel and say, oh, he's toxic. That's like locker room behavior. And Matt Cardona gets revenge because he makes him look like a fool. It is a little toxic because that is kind of locker room behavior, and that's Kit Wilson's gimmick of calling that out. It's like, there's a story there, but no, he just walked, what's your problem, man? It's like, geez, Louise. Even Drew McIntyre kind of looked like a punk today. So Drew is like, Drew comes out and he says he makes fun of Sami's kid a little bit. He says Randy Orton, he's pretty much a defanged viper. Damian Priest can't, I wasted a year of my life on you and I'll beat you up. And he said to Trick, good luck, rookie. Good luck, kid. And Drew, he looks great. He looks tough. He's a good champion, right? And he also said, I'm not a liar. And Jacob, I did not do that to you. So that was interesting because Drew is not a liar. The thing that made this bad was, Randy Orton was called out for being weak, and he didn't do anything about it. And then he made fun of Sami Zayn's kid, and Sami wasn't so mad and fired up that he didn't try to rush. He didn't try to rush Drew McIntyre. He should have been so fired up by that. He could not have waited. He should have ran to the ring, but we didn't do that. He should have ran to the ring, and then he should have got a Claymore kicked in his face to build sympathy for Sami and make Drew look like a beast. But no, instead, we have a backstage segment where Sami goes to Damian Priest, and he's like, I got your back. And Damian Priest is like, I don't want your back. I don't want you to have my back, dude. You get involved and things happen. Just leave me alone. And I like that those two are actually getting into it, because Sami's like, or what? And it's like, Damian Priest is in the right here, Sami. If he doesn't want you in his match, then don't. You don't have a right to just be down there. But Sami's like, I'll go where I want. He's like, but excuse me. And then he walks over, and Drew just happens to be standing there, and he slaps Drew. And Drew just like, like, come on. It's Drew McIntyre. I understand when Gunther takes a slap, because when Gunther takes a slap, he's like an evil guy, right? Gunther's taking a slap, but he's plotting instantly how he's going to embarrass you. Drew McIntyre, while, we'll get the upper hand, Drew needs to be a little more like, you can't lay your hands on Drew. Drew should fight back. And he didn't. And he just let Sami, and he just looked at him as Sami walked away. And that was lame. That was super lame. We'll come back from commercial break, and there'll be Cody Rhodes will actually have a picture of Drew sign saying the American Dream on his bus. I did like that little touch, but that shows that their feud isn't over. So that's interesting that they're keeping that going. I missed it at first because I was on the phone with my job, but I did go back and check it out. So that was interesting. Kiana James and Julia, they had their... maybe they are pushing Julia, and even Kiana James. They stole a victory. It was a triple threat number one contendership for the women's championship. You got Lash and Nia versus Charlotte and Alexa, and Kiana and Julia. And Kiana and Julia won. I don't think they're going to win the tag team titles, but you know what? Kiana got to win. I still think we should separate those two, but it was a matchup. Again, a banger match. Everybody banger matches. Oh, another banger match was Nathan Frazier versus Johnny Gargano. What I liked about this, I will say this, I liked this, that there is an actual storyline. I'm not keen on the storyline, but there was a storyline. I like that even the lowest people on the card can have a storyline. Solo and the MFTs with the Wyatts, there's a storyline there at least. Am I bleeding? I'm sorry, I bit my tongue earlier or my mouth, and now I'm just bleeding all the time in my mouth. You should see the other guy. So if I'm bleeding, just don't pay attention. Put some gloves on and keep watching the video. So the storyline here is that Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano, they have the mask. And it was a fine match, but I just didn't care about it. I'm not invested in these characters. They haven't given me enough to invest in. I did like the finish though, where Axiom puts the mask on Chelsea, not Chelsea Green, but on Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae should join Chelsea Green. But either way, he puts the mask on her. This then is like a distraction. Johnny Gargano will still get the win though. Does he get the win? No, he gets the pin. And I can't even remember. Honestly, it was that not memorable. And eventually though, she'll steal the mask back and run away. So this feud is continuing. And the finish was good, even though I don't remember who won. But, overall, it's just what are we doing here? Why did we give them 20, 30 minutes and the main event isn't? But, yeah, so, this should have been a 5-minute spot fest. It should have been a spot fest. Get the crowd invested them in that way. If you're not going to give them stories or characters, then at least make people just amazed by their acrobatics, because they are good wrestlers. And then that brings us to the close, which is Damian Priest versus Trick Williams. Eventually Sami comes out and they lamely just do a blatant DQ finish. I hate the blatant DQ finish. Literally the match is going on and Sami just walks in and starts punching Trick, because earlier Trick did throw Damian into Sami Zayn, but at the end of the day, he just walks in right in front of the ref and starts beating him up. And then Damian Priest is going to get in his face for that, right? He's going to get in his face for that. And Sami's going to attack, which I was surprised. Hey, you know what? Less respect, more animosity. So I did appreciate that. This will allow Trick to get the upper hand. He's gloating, but then RKO out of nowhere. Oh! And then eventually we turn around and Sami has recovered, right? Sami has recovered, and RKO on Sami Zayn too. And we got Randy Orton standing tall. Therefore, he's not going to win. I think that slap, plus they're in Canada, plus Saudi Arabia is right around the corner. Sami Zayn is 100% winning that. If there's a way for me to bet money on it, I would totally bet money on it. So there you have my one take, one shot review. I got to get this up on the interwebs and get to work. All right, boys. All right, girls. We'll do hot takes tomorrow, and then we'll do a Saturday Night Main Event watch along. God, I hope Drew doesn't lose. Oh, see ya. Bye.